hurry up intro. It's still not short enough. I just want a noise that goes beep, and then like you're on. Yeah, you know, like
no, we need the noise for Squid Games when it starts.
Wait, what's that?
I think it was kind of like one of those like, and then like those siren things.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, with the doors opening and the red lights flash.
That's so cool.
Or you can push that big plastic red button and it stops.
That's so cool.
With machine guns.
Was that like an ASMR thing or whatever it's called?
Yeah, there you go. Like sipping some Guatemalan coffee.
It's fantastic. Thank you,
yeah,
Guatemala.
Amazing. Yeah, we love coffee.
To anyone who's in Guatemala listening to this, thank you very much for the coffee.
Yeah, 100%. Anybody that's working on coffee, we'd love to hear. Yeah, we need a coffee data packet.
Whoa.
So,
what's this about? I didn't even know what we're talking about.
Data scientists.
Oh.
Think that they can predict the next January 6th. January 6th was the attack on the Capitol. So it's a Washington Post article. So Washington Post reports on this. It says, for many Americans who witnessed the attack on the Capitol last January 6th, the idea of mobs of people storming a bedrock of democracy was unthinkable. They say
mobs. Hold on.
They were Americans.
Mobs. And it's they're swarming the bedrock of democracy. Mm-hmm. The bedrock. There's nothing democratic that happens over there. It's borderline fascist. So that's absolutely hysterical, whoever wrote that.
No, I like this. Here's the part here. It says, for many Americans who witnessed the attack on Capitol, the idea of mobs. So it's like these people are still Americans. They were maybe like kind of crazy, maybe a little too pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, but they were still Americans. They weren't. And then, like you said, the bedrock of democracy.
Oh my God, that's classic.
Was unthinkable.
Well, this
is like a teacher that wrote this. Like those prudish teachers.
I'm going to analyze this right now. I haven't even read the article. I didn't even know what we're talking about. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to call the whole shots on this. Ready? Yes. The data scientists analyze social media data before the event to get a sentiment analysis of what people were going to do. Then cross-reference all their times, their comments, everything that was going on, and can predict the next time there will be social unrest and where it will be.
Well, the worst part about it was
I close?
Yes, you're close.
Thank you.
You're going to be the machine learning's involved, which of course you would know. The methods of machine learning, finding political violence, insurrection, and they've been working on it actually for a few years, even before this. He says we now have the data and the opportunity to pursue a very different path than we did before. Clayton Besaw, he helps run Coopcast, a machine learning-driven program based out of the University of Central Florida that depicts the likelihood of coups and electoral violence for dozens of countries each month.
That's like a good coup.
So here comes the dichotomy, and this is the problem that we have in society right now.
What's that, Jason?
And I want to kind of go on a tangent on this a little bit, and then we'll get back to the article. You have something that we have a technology that's, I would say, social media is more powerful than nuclear.
Oh,
I would say social media is creating hardcore biases because the algorithm
reinforces the bias.
The algorithm reinforces the bias over and over and over again. It's pursuing this, and I shared this. If you watch police violent videos, you're going to think all cops are bad. Yeah. If you watch amazing things that police do, where they help people and save people, and you watch an hour of each. And there was a scientist, and he said this, a data scientist. He goes, "I was doing this study. He was doing this study where he was looking at 1 hour of this and 1 hour. And he said, I knew I was in a study." And I was still getting emotionally charged.
That's unbelievable.
Over either way, I was still getting swayed. And I knew in my brain, this is how powerful social media, we've given our sovereignty up to this. So you have AI. Now, AI can do a lot of amazing things. If you have Neuralink and you have AI, we may be able to have consciousness experiences that are amazing in VR world.
You don't even have to actually storm DC. You can do it in your mind.
Yeah. No, but exactly.
Take your avatar and storm the bedrock of democracy.
Could you imagine if they could get our neurochemical, if they could change the neurochemical in our brains?
You can with electrostimulus.
Yes, to electrostimulus, and then allow us to automatically be in a big delta wave meditation. That we could put the goggles on, put whatever the apparatus is on, because they have haptic sensory and all that stuff. And then next thing you know, boom, within a few seconds, you can meditate for 10 minutes and you're like completely charged, like like you're a monk that's meditated for 2 hours. So we have potential. Technology can be potential.
So where are you going with the potential then? Tell me what
the problem with this, I think, is it's the human.
Yeah.
We want to blame Facebook. We want to blame the mob. These days, and we'll get into more of the cool technology shit with here, but I want to get philosophical with this. If you, I'll say one more thing. There was that comedian that said all he did on YouTube was watch cat videos, and all that popped up was cute cat videos over and over. That's all he watched, and that's all that popped up.
Yeah.
So why is all this other crazy shit popping up on our feed?
Yeah. Here. The algorithms are designed to self-reinforce. We, though, as human beings, reinforce our choice to watch. The algorithm is secondary. You can blame the tech, but you've made conscious choices to repetitiously continue to watch these things, thus reinforcing that algorithm to feed you things that are even more catalyzing.
Bro, it's that simple. It's one thing. The algorithm's all about one thing, engagement.
That's it. And you're giving it what it wants through your choice. But you are not recognizing the fact that you are reinforcing the negativity or the positivity that comes to you through the reflection of that media, through the consumption of that visual media. It's all you. But no one else.
In Tardo, we talk about sovereignty and personal responsibility and all these things. But when it comes to something like this, I mean, this, no one wants this. It happened in Seattle, that where they took over a block.
Yeah.
We don't need things like this.
We don't need
coups in, wherever it may be.
Wherever. It doesn't matter.
Brazil or whatever, or Venezuela's having their issues, or Australia has like the most horrendous lockdown known to man. Everybody's talking about that. Now in the UK, you got huge thousands and thousands of people are rioting on the streets. I mean protesting, not rioting. I made a mistake with that word. Rioting.
Actually, people blend those together.
Yeah, they do all the time, and it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Because protesting is amazing, and it's the freedom that we have, and that's awesome. Rioting is a whole different thing.
Totally different animal.
See, there I am getting influenced by the people are rioting headlines.
Yeah.
But whenever we look at this Clayton Beesaw in this coup cast, it's a great like T-cast but coup cast. He said there's been a ton of sounding alarms that he's seeing in the United States. And even he's worried about a military coup 2024.
All right, yeah, fine, fuck it. Here we go. You ready? So, you and I know know a large breadth of people. Mm-hmm. Many different backgrounds.
Yes.
Military, non-military, what have you.
Right.
What are they all doing right now? They're buying guns.
Yes.
Tons of them.
People that were on the left have asked me, hey, bro, what type of gun should I get?
Okay.
You know how many times I've got that?
There is this underbelly talk going on of a new White House, of civil unrest that's going to happen, separations of government within the United States. If you're paying attention to what these people feel is a reality, they're self-reinforcing that reality in those groups. And if you talk to many different individuals, there is a great sense here just in the U.S. alone that a major coup is going to happen.
Yes.
Borderline civil war.
Yeah, and social media is just the kindling.
It's just the kindling.
It's that dry moss.
But every time people meet up, they're having conversations.
Facebook groups.
Yeah, backdoor trading of arms, all that other stuff.
I have somebody that put me on this text thing with everybody else that sends me all these crazy videos.
Crazy stuff.
Conspiracy theory videos. And it's a big text thread.
Here's the thing. We know it's crazy and illogical.
Right.
But the people who are on it, self-reinforcing it, for those others that are self-reinforcing it, that then becomes the reality. It's the same damn thing that happened in Nazi Germany, where Goebbels like, if the lie is big enough and told enough times, it becomes the truth.
Yes.
So people are feeling this subcultural agitation, anti-governmental movement, and they're actually physically amassing themselves in groups and arming themselves and taking to social media to reinforce whatever it is that they want to get done.
Yes.
That is what this algorithm is predicting.
Yeah, and then you add, if you want to add more kindling or
Here
more
we
moss,
go.
you put a pandemic in there.
Yeah, so
That's like a
and so these groups that are already anti-government,
right.
and you put a pandemic in where government authorities are telling people how to operate,
Yes.
you are poking a bear.
So speaking of the bear, here is their design on AI, their model, because you were saying social media.
Yeah.
So here's what they do. They have quantifying variables, of course, a country's democratic history. So they take their history into play. The democratic backsliding. They have that in parentheses, backsliding. The economic swings.
Yep.
Social trust levels, which is what you were talking about.
In the U.S., you know what we have? Zero of that.
Yes.
Zilch.
Yeah. Transportation disruptions, weather volatility, and then he says, and others, whatever his others are. So the art of predicting political violence can be more scientific than ever, he says, with data.
It's not even, honestly, it doesn't even seem that scientific. Because I'll tell you why. If weather's chaotic,
Yes.
you feel like your votes are not working for you,
Right.
and you have a lack of freedom of movement, what the hell do you think is going to happen?
But I would invite Clayton Beasall from the University of Central Florida,
Yeah.
instead of making this huge AI model where you're just passively aggressively trying to figure shit out, why don't you just use Tartle?
Just use
It'd be way cheaper.
You don't even have to use the algorithm. All you got to do
Just ask people.
is go ask, do you plan on rioting? Do you hate your government? Do you love
1
your
to 10.
government?
1 to 10. How agitated are you with the U.S. government?
I don't know why they're trying to guess and predict. Well, you can go on Tartle and know for a fact. We ran a study the other day on asking
wonder how
people
much
if they
money-
trust their government.
I wonder how much money they spent on this.
So much.
Millions
You
and
can
millions
believe
of
the
dollars.
grant? I'll give them a damn grant just to use our data.
Yes.
And it'd be like, wow, I was wasting my time.
Yeah, so it's funny how everybody is into this model of, but what they're worried about. This is the funny part, because there's certain things you can't predict, like local factors that play into unrest.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't know if there's somebody that's. If I would have said in 2000 and let's go back to 2008.
I'm charged.
How old were you? How were you in 2008?
A credit default. It hurts.
So 2008, if I'd have said, hey, Texas is going to succeed from the United States, or Donald Trump, the reality star guy,
Yep.
is going to be president, which would you have predicted to be more reliable?
Texas.
Of course.
Yeah.
And look what happened. You can't, the local factors, you can't predict things.
You can't. There's no predicting.
I think Texas is still going to, I mean, if they can figure out a way to do it, they're going to do it.
Of course they will. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If I were to chalk off the United States, you're going to have the Northeast, you're going to have North Central, you are going to have all of the West Coast, and you're going to have Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana, Florida area, all as their own governments.
Yes.
You know how I can tell? The cultures.
Mm-hmm.
It's all it is.
It's all it is, yeah.
It's all it
The
boils down
South
to.
has a whole different culture. It's been this way. Texas has their own culture.
Yeah.
The Midwest has their own culture.
Yeah.
The West Coast, you know, everybody jokes and calls it the left coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have their own culture. Northeast, New York and all that has its own culture.
Has its own culture.
New York City in and of itself could be a fucking country.
Yeah, I know. But this is the point. It's not going to separate because of weather. It's not going to separate because of transportation. It's only going to separate. It'll delineate itself on culture and nothing else.
Yeah, and doing risk assessments like he talks about on electoral violence.
Oh my gosh. Is the next breakdown of the United States just to become the states going to be fueled by social media and memes? Is memes what broke the camel's back?
Dude, people do not realize how powerful memes are. How many memes do you get a week? How many memes do you see a week? How many texts of memes do you get?
They're all memes.
How many memes do you
Send out?
Yeah, send out.
I do all the time. Yeah.
We all do. Across all countries.
Here's the interesting part about a meme. You remember, everyone's like, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
What happens when you tell people what the picture is?
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yes.
Okay.
And so to close this out.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. The algorithm.
Because this is a long thing. The Pentagon, the CIA, and the State Department have been moving into this direction too.
To what direction?
Wanting this data. Why
don't they just buy it off the American public?
The State Department in 2020, while everybody's worried about the pandemic, they created a center for analytics. The CIA started to hire AI consultants, and the military has a ton of new projects that they're looking at this.
You know what that tells me? The government authorities aren't that intelligent because they're using AI when you can simply just ask somebody what they're going to do. It just tells me that they're just really not ahead of the game.
Which is funny. There's this new thing that General Glenn Van Herk came up with.
Cool name.
With NORAD and NORTHCOM. He's the NORAD and NORTHCOM commander. They have models now, AI models and software tools that determine in advance which U.S. actions, which U.S. actions might upset China. We got to do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, don't do that. I got a friend in the military, mathematician. He spends his days analyzing culturally what's going on in an area to see what the political unrest will be, to see if it's advantageous for the military to actually move in. So they analyze cultural movements. They analyze the weather. They sit there and they look at the math and they run models and they're like, there's a weak point here. Oh, this is a good spot. And they run essentially scenarios on cultural changes all day long.
Yes.
And they pass the data off, and then that's when the generals or what have you are like, okay, here's our plan. This is the best time for us to do this. This is what's going on. The military, data-driven. Politics, data-driven. What I would ask is that people stop predicting shit and start knowing for a fact.
Well, this is the last statement, the last paragraph.
Go ahead.
And we'll end in this because this is funny. He says the advocates that talk about this program, but there's enormous unrealized potential to use data for early warning and action. I don't think these tools, this is a quote from him, I don't think these tools are just optional anymore. But he says this because he doesn't know about Tartle.
Yeah.
He says it's not perfect and it can be expensive.
Yeah. You know how you make it much cheaper and perfect? Go to Tartle.